Brad, thank you very much for joining us in the studio today, mate. The first question I'm going to ask you is one we tend to ask a lot of our guests, but how did you first become involved with netball umpiring?
So I first became involved, both my sisters played at a club level. One day I was just bouncing the ball at the club where they were just training, and I was like, how can I get involved? I just want to play a sport because some other sports just weren't doing it for me.
Yep.
And yeah, kind of fell in love with playing, had to stop playing.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, can still umpire, still be involved, so that was pretty good.
What do you enjoy about umpiring community sport?
I find that, especially with Outer East and some other leagues, the community really get involved, different clubs, they come and watch, they, support more than ways than one, and it just feels like a really good atmosphere and to be part of, because I only joined Outer East this year, so it's a good league to be part of.
Certainly. How many games would you umpire for our competition across the average weekend?
Typically 2, just on the Saturday, but I did 3 last week at Healesville.
Yep.
So that was 3 in a row in the rain.
Yeah.
So good, but it's just 2 a week usually.
Okay, yep. What is the most memorable games you've umpired?
Probably some of the rep tournaments before COVID.
Yep.
Mainly with some sassy players and rep parents being rep parents. Their child's the gods, which is fine, fair enough, but yeah, it's just the chat back.
Yeah, it can get pretty competitive junior sport, I know what you mean, for sure. You recently umpired at the Netball Victoria Association Championships, which is a tournament-style competition that OEFN competed in. Most people would probably know it is used for talent identification by Netball Victoria for players, but this can also be for umpiring. Can you talk to us about what that experience was like and any opportunities you got out of it?
So first it was the Central East Day at Frankston, so where all the Central East, so Outer East, all the nearby competitions, they play against each other. It's more of a pool kind of style format, and each association league would send maybe 2 or 3 umpires, depending on how many teams they have in the competition. And they have the chance, like I had the chance through Outer East, to be talent identified. They would have people from Netball Victoria walking around with little clipboards amongst all these courts, giving you feedback. My very first game was with Kayla Pratt, who umpires with us as well. We got feedback on the very first game, so that was good. And if you were identified as someone with potential or consistency, then you were asked to umpire the finals for that day. So that was nice and challenging because some really good teams were there, feisty players as usual. And then some of us got an email asking if we're available for the state finals day 2 weeks later. So Keller and I both went to that day as well at State Netball Hockey Centre. And that was a lot more intense. I think there's 8 regions in Victoria. Each of them had 2 teams, go through for each age group. So the competition was really good. Got a lot of feedback from really high up performance pathways people. And I guess the aim would be to get to VNL umpiring level. And I think Kayla probably wants the same.
No, certainly. So now that you know that you've been recognised, do you know what the pathway is from here to sort of go up to, I guess, like the Super Netball or something like that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very far away from that. But that is the dream.
Yep.
I've started going to those games recently as well. I was recommended to start umpiring at Waverley properly during the week. So I do that Tuesday, Wednesday nights now, just to try and get that extra bit of mentoring from some senior people. And hopefully in the next couple of years, do the same kind of tournament again where I get TID'd, hopefully get towards the Talent Academy, which will be the next step towards VNL.
Do you have any advice for junior or new umpires who are coming into the competition?
I think everyone has their bad days, even professional umpires, even people like me who's got my big badge. It's okay to have mistakes, just focus on one thing at a time. And if you chip away at those one things, it becomes less and less that you have to worry about.
Yep.
You feel more confident in your own shoes and your own voice.
So you mentioned the B badge, which I'm sure a lot of our viewers are probably a little bit unsure of what that is. Can you just clarify what the badge is and how that works?
Yeah, so there's a badging system that Netball Australia has in place. So you start off as a beginner umpire, where you just ref really local matches, get the basics done. You then get tested towards a C badge, which is the first badge. There's different competency levels that you are striving to either yes or no in a little tick box. You typically have 2 or 3 testers of different badge levels sitting in a match that you are officiating at a league or maybe at a state league game, and it goes from C, B, A, double A, then the RUA, which is the International Umpire Award. So me being currently at a B, I had to go to White Horse Association to train for my B there. Had to be 15-minute quarters. And the next step for me personally would be, once I get into VNL, hopefully, would be to train towards the A badge, which has to be at the Victorian or New South Wales State League, and have 2 or 3 assessors of, I think it's double A standard, give or take. So,
do you know what some of those check boxes are that you need to pass for each badge?
So B's mainly about having control and game management, being able to do advantage, which is where you see something happen in the game, but it's not important enough to penalise at that moment or might impact the flow of the game and pretty much the amount of scores and goals that you get in the game. So it's just your ability to be able to do that consistently, or if there's like a blood rule or injury, being able to manage that is pretty much the different levels, the criteria.
Brad, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today, mate. We really appreciate the insights into netball umpiring. I feel like it's probably a subject we haven't covered off enough, so thank you for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season and the next couple of years.
Thank you, and to you both as well.
Thank you.